There you go. That's called Travelin' Light. Charly Tate, our guest here on the David Bowers Awards, and we're so happy to have her back with us after a couple of years of, creating music, especially to play on the show. So we're glad to have you back here, Charly. And that is definitely, when I first saw that title on there, I flashed back, and of course, being a bit of a dinosaur myself, I flashed back to the old Frank Sinatra tune that Cliff Richard of England did in the 60s. He did an updated version of it, too, and this is nowhere near the same song, but a good sound anyway. And before we go any further, I want to touch one more time on this the current state of the world, actually, the coronavirus and all the attendant problems. Now, a lot of artists are finding that, the way to go, because there are no more live engagements, the way to go is with live feeds on the Internet, and I suspect there's going to be more on television, on network and cable television as well. I personally think that this is going to open up it's going to not necessarily open up a new, but it's going to expand on the newer thing of the live streams online and music concerts on TV, whether it be network or cable. And the live concerts, of course, they're not going to go away. They will always be there. They will just become a little bit more prestigious and probably a lot more expensive. But I think we're going to see a result of this. There will be a lot more live stream shows online and televised concerts, again, whether it be network or cable. What's your take on this? Are you thinking of doing some live stream, or, how do you feel about this?
I would love it. I do love it. I love what everyone's doing. I love the ingenuity of everyone, too, just seeing people come up with these creative ways to go live simultaneously from totally different places. So you can see how, even though we're in our homes and we're in some cases not even in a professional studio environment,
sure,
we can still come together and express something that's unified. And I kind of feel that it makes it a little bit more intimate. I feel like the connection is even stronger in some ways, just because
I agree.
You're not looking at someone on the stage from afar, which is very cool, and there's always a cool ambience about that. But it's just, I definitely want to try to do it. I was actually just last night, I was trying to get some gear rigged so I could do some live streams and start, sharing some songs with people over the Internet wherever I can. I definitely want to get in on that.
I agree with you. It's a trade-off. You don't have that live interaction, the feedback with the live crowd out there, which, that's a high all its own. But you do have, instead, you have a much more personal and intimate setting than you would ever get even in the small clubs. I mean, really the only way you would get that kind of a feel is by doing, basically what we do here on the show, the living room sit-down chat, where we would just sit and talk, and that's what they're doing. A lot of them are giving it that home feel. Hey, this is me. This is my living room. This is how I live. Now let me do a song for you. And I think that should be a good cue to go to our next song, one of your newer ones. We're going to play it now, and then afterwards we'll talk about it. You can tell us a little bit about, where it came from and exactly what it means. It's called 45th Parallel. Here's Charly Tate.
Can you try just a little harder? If 90's too far, you can try 45. How does it feel? Are you ripped apart? Remember, progress is progress, yeah. you try just a little harder? If halfway's too far, try, just try, baby, just try. Can you try? Can you try just a little harder? If halfway's too far, if halfway's too far, cut it in half. You can cut it. Hold on, you're slipping, but just
And there you go. That's 45th Parallel by our guest here on the David Bowers Awards, Miss Charly Tate. Hello, Charly. Great tune.
Hi.
Done some great music there. And we're going to get to talking about the next track we're going to play from your new project in just a couple of minutes here. But I wanted to ask you before we run out of time here and everything, I wanted to just touch a little current events with you. How is aside from what we've already discussed, how has this virus situation been affecting you, personally as well as professionally?
Well, it's been tough. You know, we're definitely being that Seattle kind of had the first outbreak that we saw. So I think we've been locked down earlier than almost anyone else has. And, of course, my husband and I have been tucked away for even longer than a lot of people themselves because we've been taking extra precautions. But we've been staying in touch as much as we can. We've been very productive. I've been super productive. But it's all relying on the technology, which thankfully we have it in place in this day and age, and that's the beauty of being able to share the music still, is you don't have to be in front of a bunch of people, which is great, but you can still have that connection and that audience. So it's tough, but it's nice to have the ability to still keep the connection going.
Hey, Charly, if you're going to go online and play music for the public online, what kind of promotion do you do for? What platform do you use? Other than the obvious avenues of Facebook and Twitter, how do you get the word out that you're going to be doing this?
It's funny that you asked that question. I do communications in general in addition to the music work that I do. So I do a lot with email campaigns, and I would even go so far as to print things and hand them out, kind of go the old guerrilla marketing route. But you just kind of have to take advantage of every avenue you have, whether it's digital or a little bit more old school or mail or whatever it is. But I definitely have these strategies about how I'm going to connect with people that either are current fans or people that might love it, and advertise a little bit if need be, and just let them know where I'm going to be at and when. And hope that they can find it and love it.
I remember what you were saying about the center of some of the activity up there in Washington. How far are you from the proximity of the nursing home that was a hotbed there at the beginning?
Oh, gosh. Probably, I would say within 10 or 15 miles of it, which is really scary when you think about it.
Yes, really.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. I'm super data driven, so I've actually looked at graphs that target zip codes, and they'll tell you how many cases there are by zip code. So in our particular zip code, because we're a little bit east of the main part of town, it's not quite as bad up here. So it's just interesting to see the dynamics of, how bad it is in some areas and then not in areas that are right next to it. It's really, from a data standpoint, it's really fascinating. But, of course, when you see the numbers, it's devastating. Yeah.
Oh, it sure is. This whole thing has been devastating, but I'm glad you're in the